Shalom, everyone. Good to have you with us. And we're continuing now in the book of Proverbs. In Mishlei, we are going to discuss friendships, what makes for good friends, the kinds of folks you should be hanging out with, etc., etc. So I'm going to share the screen. Okay, and we're going to go now to Mishnah, I keep saying Mishnah, verse number 10, Okay, so it says the following advice to us, very, very important. Bini im yifatuch chataim al tovei. My son, if sinners entice you, do not yield. Do not yield. So what is it talking about here? In other words, don't be bamboozled into bad friendships. That's essentially what it is trying to tell you. There's a warning here, and that's the following. Firstly, I want to just tell you something. Throughout the prophets, there are many teachings. And in fact, the prophet Hosea taught in particular, he said, you have to be very careful with organized gangs and bandits. So now when we talk about, remember, look at the word here. It says, doesn't use the word bad. It uses the word chataim. Remember the word chet, which means sin. So we're talking about people who do not join with people who sin. Now, what does that mean? You can have a friend who sins. You can have a friend who makes mistakes. I mean, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And sometimes a friend could be very helpful to give us proper guidance. Maybe there's an area, that I'm weak in and my friend is stronger in, or I'm stronger in and my friend is weak in, and we can help each other to improve. We're not talking about that. People make mistakes. Not everybody has to be perfect. But here it's talking about sinners who habitually, regularly, and continuously sin. It could be they sin as an individual, they sin as a group, but they are constantly accustomed to sinning and they're very satisfied with that kind of lifestyle. They're very content with that, and you shouldn't join with sinners. You shouldn't be enticed. As fun as it may seem, you should not be enticed. Okay, let's continue. Im yomru lecha itanu nerva lidam nitzpina linaki chinam. If they say, yeah, come with us, we'll set an ambush to bloodshed. Let us lie in wait for the innocent without cause. Okay, so here they're saying they want to get you to commit robbery, okay? And of course it will entail bloodshed, because you could have an innocent bystander who's caught in the crosshairs of what might happen, okay? So they want to go and ambush somebody, all right? Now, here's the thing with this. Here's the thing. It may seem wonderful that they're going to go against bad people, right? They're going to go out and kill bad people. And maybe they're going to kill someone who has done some harm to you. You have to be very, very careful with such people, because ultimately they may turn against you. It's interesting. I've been in the rabbinate now. I'm going to be celebrating 18 years. And I can tell you one thing. Whenever somebody comes into my synagogue and they say, I've screwed every other synagogue and every other rabbi is a jerk, but you're a great guy and your synagogue is the best synagogue, but every other synagogue is bad, I know that person will turn on me within a few minutes. Sometimes it takes a few weeks, sometimes a month or 2 months. But essentially, that person who has gone through 25 different synagogues and has had battles over there is ultimately going to turn against me also. All right. And initially it may seem very good. Maybe this person could begin as an ally, start off as an ally, saying, my synagogue is the best, it's superior to every other synagogue. So you don't want somebody like that. You want somebody who's more idealistic, somebody who believes, my place is a good place. I'm a good rabbi because they've evaluated me on the merits, not somebody who likes me because they hate other people. That's never a good thing. Somebody's trying to help you through anger, through rage, through things of that nature. You must watch out for that person. Again, maybe they're doing things which are initially beneficial to you. Now, I've been in these kinds of situations, but ultimately, at the end of the day, things do not work out well. So let's take a look at another verse here. Nivlaim ki sha'ol chayim utmimim ki yardei bor. Like Sheol. Now, there's a very important word here. Sheol is, usually refers to where one might go after a person dies. Sheol is often translated as the next world, into a place, into a pit that they enter below the ground. It's also interpreted sometimes as hell. Good people will go to heaven and bad people will go to hell, etc. Here, it's not really talking about that. Rather, it's referring to that these are people, the gang that we're telling you to stay away from, are people who have an utter disregard for human life. They want to swallow people up alive. Like those who go down to the pit, in other words, to say, they don't care about seeing somebody die. We had that the other day here in New York City, unfortunately, where there was somebody in a U-Haul truck. You may have seen it in the news, and he was riding and running over people. Some people got killed. Other people are seriously injured. And the police were following him. And he said, I don't care. You can follow me all you want. I'm going to keep going. And he caused a lot of damage. And that's somebody who you see, had as an utter disregard for human life. People like that, savages, such as a person like that. So, okay, let's see what's next. Kol hon yakar nimsa nimale batenu shalol. We shall obtain every precious treasure. We shall fill our homes with loot. We're gonna go take. We're gonna take things. We're gonna rob. We're gonna steal, and it's so pervasive. We're not even gonna hide it. We're not even gonna put it. It's some hidden treasures. We're actually gonna display it in our home because, somebody once has had a good line. There are many people who are a-holes, but then you have some people who are unapologetic a-holes. So this group are unapologetic a-holes. They don't care about what you think. This is how bad they are. Tapil bitochenu kis echad yihyeh lichulanu. Throw in your lot with us. We shall all have a common purse. In other words, you'll benefit. You'll benefit from this scheme. All right, so that's what essentially they're telling you. These people say, don't just think that you come with us, you're going to have some fun. You'll even benefit. You'll get a certain portion of what we are going to steal. So that's, that in itself is a big thing. Unfortunately, I have a lot of white collar crime when you see such things happening. There could be a lot of fraud or things like that. All right. So then it says, let's do two more here so we get a sense of what's going on. Bini al telech b'derech itam mina raglecha minitivatam. So my son, do not set out with them. Keep your feet from their path. In other words, stay out of their path, stay out of the crosshairs. You don't want to know what's going on with them. Don't even cross their path. Don't even give them the time of day. Don't even engage in any kind of dialogue with them, because essentially these are such bad people. And especially as you see, they're offering you something. that you know, you may in fact be motivated to join with them. Don't join them. Don't be bamboozled into this gang of evildoers. All right, so then it says, Ki raglehem lira lara yarutsu vimaharu lishpach dam. For their feet run to evil, and they hurry to bloodshed. Okay, that's essentially what it is telling you here. In other words, that now the omission of innocent here seems to be, all right, seems to imply that the words have been adopted with different meaning. So evil does not signify wickedness here. It signifies harm to themselves. They will quickly be brought to a bad end by the arm of justice. In other words, those who do such things. I don't know how many of you have seen, I saw it on Broadway and the movie, A Bronx Tale. I don't know if anybody familiar with The Bronx Tale. And you had, it's a group of people from the Bronx, about a gentleman who grew up in the Bronx, and he became friendly with some of the people from the mafia, from some of the gangs. And there was one guy throughout the community, his name was Sonny. Sonny was a fellow who led by fear. He was the real gang leader. Everybody went to him. He took care of your problems. You had a problem, he'd take care of it in a very simple way, if you know what I mean. And, self-help, I use the word, I'll be polite, I'll use the word self-help. He would take care of it in that way. And, he was a hero to many, but he led by fear. Everybody was afraid of him. And ultimately, at the end of the end of the movie, it's still worth telling you, even though I'm telling you the end, it's still worth seeing it, even though I'm telling you the end. He's killed by someone else who was out to get him for many, many years, because I think the person's family was killed by him and his people, and he's ultimately killed. So what it's trying to say here is the same thing. It's saying that ultimately justice is going to prevail. Ultimately, the people who are leading by fear, you see this in politics all the time today. Okay, yeah, there are many who get away with it, but then you have others who lead by fear. They threaten people, and they get what they want for many, many years just by using intimidation tactics. And then suddenly they antagonize the wrong person, and that person goes against them and is relentless, and the person ultimately goes out of power. We see that many, many times. We had that here in New York State. We had that with a certain governor, and so you see that you see such things happening all the time. So it's warning us, stay away from such people, because initially it may seem great, it may seem like a lot of fun, but ultimately at the end of the day, justice is going to prevail, and the one who we thought was our friend is either going to harm us or he's going to be out of power. So that's the ultimate message to us. So just to conclude this segment, right now we were being warned about the negative impacts of not taking the advice of Shlomo HaMelech, of King Solomon. Next time we're going to examine another topic where we're going to be more positive and speak about the rewards and the benefits of following the advice of this book of King Solomon, and what we can look forward to. So thank you very, very much for watching.